Welcome everyone. This is Charlie Rebick with MaestroConference. Thank you so much for taking the time and being here today for our demo of the MaestroConference platform and how you can light up the world with the power of meaningful conversations. This is our weekly demo where we give a high-level overview of what's possible, what you can create with MaestroConference, and really how you can create a much more alive and engaging virtual event experience for you and your participants that pulls people in, gets them more deeply engaged in your material, helps them to learn and retain that information more, and really in the end increase your bottom line, because when people are more engaged and activated and learning more, they're more likely to sign up for your next course or for more of your services or get more involved in your campaign or your organization. So welcome. So here we are in Social Webinar. This is the introductory screen. This is one of the views that you have available to you that we call screen sharing. And in screen sharing view, you can do what I'm doing here, which is sharing a PowerPoint presentation. And with that PowerPoint, you can I basically just have a couple of slides up like I do here, and this is pretty typical webinar stuff. But we also have a couple other really neat features that you can have available as well while you're doing your presentation. So with this, you can notice at the top there's a couple of buttons. There's the raised hands icon, and with the raised hands icon you can ask your participants multiple choice questions, which I'll explain here in a moment as we get going, and have them select an answer by pressing 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 with the raised hands. And you can also have people do that using their phone keypad to answer your poll questions that way. There's also a chat feature down in the bottom left-hand corner. So if you click on the chat icon, you can notice that there's a host chat where you can chat questions to the host. There's also an everyone chat where if you want to have a kind of running everyone to everyone chat going during your event, just to increase the engagement and the conversation going on. Yep, you see we got a chat right there from Julian. Hello, Julian. And I can type a hello back. And you can do things like ask people where they're calling from today. So I'm calling in from Oakland, California in our company headquarters. It's just one of the features, lots of things that we do to really just get that kind of engagement going with your participants so you're more in a conversation with them rather than in just broadcasting or doing presentation mode. So we got Julian here in the Bay Area, and we also have Anthony in San Francisco. So welcome, guys. This is pretty typical stuff as we get going with doing a PowerPoint presentation. And as I run through here, I'm going to move on to my next slide. This is my agenda slide. So today at this demo, my purpose is to help you, really ultimately my purpose is to help you create a live, engaging, interactive social conferencing event and to show off how you can do that with this technology, really more so than with any other technology in terms of having more of a conversational format. For the demo, I'll do a bit of presentation here, and I'll demo all the main features, and we'll also do Q&A. So I'll take a few moments during the demo to pause for questions, and I always encourage you, if you have a notepad next to you, to write down your questions so that I can answer those as we go. And I'll cover all the components of MaestroConference. So I'll cover the basic audio components. There is an audio-only part of MaestroConference. We started as an audio service, and you can do teleconferencing calls where you have people in breakout groups, and you can poll them and do opt-ins, all that with just telephone-only teleconferencing calls. But then I'll also cover in much more detail today Social Webinar, which is our visual interface, which is much more interactive and includes things like screen sharing and breakout groups where people can see each other in the breakout groups, and shared text documents, which I'll show off here in a moment, and interactive browser, all these really cool, very engaging interactive features that you can use in your events and webinars. Cover the different call-in options and recording and pricing. And then my goal really is to help you decide if MaestroConference is going to be right for you. On to my next slide. Just a little bit about MaestroConference, and I'd like to talk about this at the beginning, I think really to explain what the real benefit of MaestroConference is and what differentiates us from other platforms out there. And on my first slide, you might have noticed that our mission statement is to light up the world with the power of meaningful conversations. And by conversation, we mean having a much more interactive format to your events. So rather than having participants sit and passively listen in a more traditional kind of what we call broadcast format, to engage them in an actual conversation around your material. So I'm sure all of you have been on webinars where there's just somebody speaking and giving a lot of information for an hour and then maybe a little bit of Q&A. Well, that's great, but what so many learning studies have shown, and probably you know this from your own experience, that when you're engaged in a conversation around the material, if the teacher is actually asking you questions and then having you think about it, and maybe working together, working with other participants in small groups of 3 or 4 around the material, you learn more, you retain more, you get more engaged and activated, and you get more out of the event. And all the educational studies I've looked at this have demonstrated this. And this was really the cornerstone of what we built the MaestroConference platform around, is having conversations. And we mentioned in this too, just from the business standpoint, if you're trying to create money with your webinars or you're trying to raise funds for your nonprofit, that when you get people more engaged and activated around what you're doing or your mission, they're more likely to get engaged and to donate. So we have numerous organizations who have used this for fundraising as well. I'm going to move on to my next slide, and this is where I actually get to show off one of the features, which is one of that I use a lot when I'm helping customers run calls, is what we call our polling feature. So one of the things you can do is you can ask questions to your participants and have them respond by using their touch-tone keypad on their phone or the raised hands icon in the social webinar bar. So this is a question that I have for you, and this is just to help me also understand who you are and what kind of organization you're representing and a little bit about what your events are about, so that I can talk a little bit more specifically to you and what you're looking to do. And I really want to know about you and your events and what you're trying to accomplish. So I'll use this as an example to show off this feature. So my question to you is, who are you here representing today? If you're from a teaching, training, or coaching organization, please press 1 on your phone keypad if you called in using your phone, or click on the raised hands icon in the social webinar bar and select 1. If you're from a nonprofit or NGO, maybe you're looking to do organizational calls or fundraising, please press 2, again using the touch-tone keypad on your phone or the raised hands icon in the social webinar bar. If you're from a political organization, please press 3. If you're from corporate, meaning you're looking to do, from a large company and you're looking to do maybe some inside organizational trainings or just inside organization communication, please press 4. And then you can select 5 for other. So please take a moment right now and selecting 1 if you're a teacher, trainer, or coach, or 2 from a nonprofit, 3 from a political organization, 4 from corporate, or 5 from other. Great. Okay. Thanks for playing along with that. And what I can do here now is I can share those poll results. So I'm going to select my hands too, just so I'm also engaged. And now we can change one of the things that we can change the view and go from this screen sharing view to what we call poll view. And with the poll view, it shows the poll results. Whoa. So here's the poll results. We had, and it shows it by a percentage. We had 33% of folks select 1 from the teaching, training, coaching, and then we had 66% of the people select 4 from corporate. And this is something you can do. You can do real-time voting with. If maybe you want to have give your participants different topics that maybe they want to talk about and give them the options. Or if as an organization you're trying to make decisions together and you want to do voting, you can do that by giving people multiple choice options. And actually you can see the poll results change in real time. Public mic. Hello, Audrey.
Hi. I don't know if you can hear me.
Welcome.
Sorry,
I can now. I just
being a bit late.
No problem. We've got Margaret and myself here, and
Hi.
I'm just giving a little bit of the high-level overview. So,
Okay,
welcome.
great. Thanks.
Great. You're welcome. And I can come back and explain anything that I did. We've got Margaret here on the phone for a few minutes, so I thought I would just explain a few things here and kind of give an overview. So
Great.
I'm just showing my screen here and was showing off the polling feature, how you can use polling. And then you can also create breakouts. So really one of the biggest features with MaestroConference is the ability to have small group discussions on a large call. So you could have dozens or hundreds of people on an event, and yet everyone gets to participate, because rather than just speaking to them for an hour, you can create your content in a way to get them talking about your content or working together in small groups, sessions like that. So what I'm going to do is just put us into a breakout. And I'm going to change views here. So normally, if you were doing your presentation, you'd be doing a little bit presentation mode, and you say, okay, well now I want to get you guys into groups of 3 and discuss, what we were just talking about, or I want to hear your top 3 ideas, or any way we can creatively create more engagement with the content. And then I change the view, and then here we are in a breakout. So I'm going to add, we've got a couple of MaestroConference folks here as well. I'm also going to add, who are joining us for part of training. So this is all of us sitting around a breakout table. I'm not sure if Julian can hear us, and Anthony. Hi, Anthony. I'm not sure if you're here. This is all of us sitting around a breakout table. So you can have, like I said, breakouts of any size. You could have people just sitting one-on-one together, or you could have larger groups around a breakout table like this. And in this view, it shows the people who have a public mic at the top. And I gave you guys right now, put you guys on breakout mic. It shows, Anthony still has a public mic. I want to get him on a breakout mic. Oh, no, he's actually at the top because he's a presenter. So it shows the presenters at the top, and then these are the people in the breakout. So we're in a breakout table together, and all the other participants in a list below. So this is one of the views that's available. And then this is just really powerful use of the technology, getting people working together in a small group discussion. And then we also have, and I want to show you one other thing here in breakouts. This is a little bit more powerful even. This is what we call the text editor view. And in this view, you can actually take your participants to a shared document, kind of like a Google Doc. And this is a document for each one of the breakout rooms. And then in this, I can have some pre-created instructions, and then have those instructions pasted into each breakout. And here in the breakout room, now we can all speak, and we're all here together. And you can see the list of people who are in your breakout group by name. And you can work on a shared document together. Yeah, and exactly. So you can type on this. You can also insert pictures in here. And then all this text, in addition to being where you can have audio recordings of all the breakouts in the rain room, all this text is also saved. So if you're going to have people working together in a breakout, this is saved as well. So any questions on this and on anything I've covered so far around the breakouts or anything else, Margaret or Audrey? So yeah, so basically I just showed off here some of the main features of the breakout rooms. I think the highlight features of MaestroConference are being able to do screen sharing where you can share your PowerPoint. That's a more typical kind of webinar thing. You can have a chat running, like there's that little chat in the bottom left-hand corner. And then polling, where you can poll participants, asking them a multiple choice kind of question and having them select on their phone keypad to do that. And then, of course, breakouts. So, and this is where we are now with the text editor. And I love this feature. I mean, I do courses myself, and I also help customers design courses. And when you can get people into small groups and everything, so much of that educational, and they talk about education when people are not just listening but also participating and speaking, how much more they learn and retain. And then if they're also writing as well and participating that way by having to write, how much that increases the learning and the retention of the learning as well too. So the host, you can change the view like there's different views. There's kind of the screen sharing view. There's the little breakout table view where you haven't seen that yet, Mary. I can go back to that. There's where you can see people sitting around a table. And then there's this text editor view. Yeah, okay. And this is just, you have the control to that. So I won't go into that much detail here today. Some of the, if we have time at the end, I can do a little bit. But you create the breakouts. And there's other thing I've been told, there's lots of ways you can create breakouts. So you can create them randomly, or you can do them by hand position if you have people, like if you do a poll at the beginning and want to know, maybe if people have had experience with your material or not, and then you can create breakouts that way. You can also create breakouts by custom field. Almost any creative way that you think you'd want to get people working together in small groups, but you could do it by their business type if they're coming to you from different organizations and through custom fields. Almost any way like that you can create the breakouts. And then once they're in the breakout like this, you can have pre-made instructions. So it's basically like in another document, have your instructions that you're going to give at that breakout, and then you tell the people those instructions. And there's a simple one. There's one little space here in the settings as the host where you paste that, and then it'll populate it in each breakout document. So you see here, so each breakout document will get that text. And then from there, it's up to the participants, to type and work together and get involved in the document. Great. Great. And so what I just wanted to share, so I think I'm kind of giving you some of the basics here with this. One other thing I want to show you both, there's a couple other views that I want to show you that I think are really powerful and useful. And one of them is what we call interactive browser. So with interactive browser, let me see, I'm going to change the settings. I got to make sure that I have this preset right. Page. So imagine, you can do things like this, like doing the presentation, getting people in the breakouts. But if you want, you can also take people to another web page like this. So within the call or within the webinar, and I'm not sure if you guys do this, Audrey, or not, but if you have, say, like an introductory call, I think you guys do, and then you're going to have people sign up for the course at the end of the call, right? You build them, get them engaged, you're talking about the content, people are getting really excited, and then at the end you give them the special offer for the, for the course. You can literally take them to a sign-up page right live during the event. So this is what I just took us to here as an example is this is actually the support page at MaestroConference.com. But you each now can scroll down this page and click on the buttons on most of them. So it's kind of like, and yeah, right? So you can embed, it's like embedding a web page within the web page. And you can have that set and ready to go so that as you build them up during the event, and then you want to say, okay, sign up, if you sign up now, you're going to save 15% or 20%, whatever your little promotion is. And do that right live during the event. So this is actually it's a page we designed specifically thinking about like the kind of work you guys are doing. So it's like we take you to I don't know if the simulator, because it's Flash. Some web pages don't work here, but most sign-up pages do, because the simulator, it actually launches a whole JavaScript literal simulator. So I'm not sure if that would work. It might, and it'll probably open in a new window. Yeah, it's not launching. You can also, if there's any web pages that are a little more advanced like that, you can. There's underneath the title in the social webinar bar where it says, on the title next to the Maestro Conference logo, it says Building Your Business with Maestro Conference. There's a link under there where it says Open Link in a new tab. You can also tell participants to click on that, and it'll actually open it in a new tab. And what I usually do in an enrollment call, if you guys are going to be doing enrollment calls, is if I'm going to leave people with this, I tell them, okay, well, if you sign up in the next half an hour, you save an additional 15%. And we're going to be, and we're going to be ending the call now. So click on that, open the link in a new tab, and it'll open in a new tab. And then they have that link open. Because once the call, one thing about it is if you end the call, it closes social webinar and it takes people to a feedback page. Maybe I'm giving you a lot of information here about what you can do with this, but basically, we designed this so you can have this kind of interactivity, taking people to sign-up pages or other interactive pages like that. And you still can, you still can do audio-only calls with Maestro if you want, where people are calling in. You can still get them in breakout groups, but where they just hear each other. And you can do the polling as well. And that polling is basically allowing them to use their phone keypad. And one common thing the most common thing people use the polling for, or we call it polling or raised hands, is like press 1 if you have any questions. That's because that's what you can use that one for. Or you can also use the polling for an opt-in. So if you want to, if you're going to do audio only, and you say, well, if you'd like to receive the special offer today that we're giving, press 3 on your phone. And then people press 3, we have a simple kind of data capture, and you can capture all that data. Yeah, let me show you guys that one. That's really neat. And that's just so you can see that. I'm going to go back to screen sharing here. So I'm going out of that. And take you back over to my, so I'm going back to screen share mode. And this is the PowerPoint I had open, so I'm going out of this. And I have the browser tab open here. So this is what we call the conductor interface. And this is kind of the main little control panel that you use for both audio and social webinar calls. And it shows everybody who's on the call. Anthony and I are presenters. My mic is lighting up green because I'm speaking. And we're all still in the breakout group number 3. That's what shows that. And this is just where you do things like control the mics, and you can see the poll results, all of that. So I just took all the hand positions down. This is also where you create the breakout groups. And we can give you, so when you sign up for a Maestro account, you get all the support that we have available, the trainings, the videos, documentation, everything you need to learn how to do this yourself. And we also have call drivers available. So we can work out, and this is something Anthony can talk to you about, some of the different plans we have where we can have someone do some one-on-one training with you. And we can also have someone available for the first call or the first few calls to help, especially with the social webinar. And when you're kind of sitting down, and thinking about, okay, how do we put all our material and really utilize this tool? So we do that, and we have a couple really great facilitators who use MaestroConference a lot, who will, we can schedule to sit down with you and work on that, and then even be there during the event if you want to have somebody running the whole technical, technical side for you. So right now I'm in screen sharing mode, and I'm sharing my desktop, and usually when I'm running a social webinar call, I have 2 monitors going. So one is if I'm running it myself. If I have some help, I might have someone else do. But if I'm running it myself, on one of the screens, I have whatever I want to share, for screen sharing like this. So I've got I had my PowerPoint here, and now I'm sharing you my browser. So I'm kind of showing you underneath, behind the scenes a little bit with the conductor interface. And then on the other screen, I'll have a copy of the conductor interface open and social webinar, so I can see what you see. And in social webinar, you don't have this available to you because you're a participant. But as the host, in my settings tab, there's a little there's another tab there where it allows me to change the views, and it gives me other controls. So I can change, I click on that, and then I can change the view and go back to the text editor breakout. So here we go. And then, and everything, and then at the end of the call, and everything is saved. So I think, and I made this, you can have this option, you can make this visible to your participants or not. But over on the left-hand side there, you see where there's a list of the documents, it says current docs. And there's a main, green room, breakout 2, breakout 3. So anytime a room is created, it automatically creates a blank document for it. And normally, if I have people, if I'm hosting a call for participants, I'll hide that document list. Only I can see it, so that they don't get confused and start looking at other documents other than the one they're supposed to be on. But you have access to all those. So you can click on any of them and see if there's, and right now there's nothing in any of those other rooms. But that's one way during the call you can kind of access and see the different, different documents. And then, and then at the end of the call, you get, when the final documents are done, you can go back and reopen them from your, from your account page. So when the call, so you get all that text afterwards as well too. We've been developing this other view as well too. We call YouTube view, where you can show some pre-recorded material. And the developers were working on it, and I wanted to see. I didn't have time to actually check but I wanted to see if it was actually functional right now. So if you don't mind, I'd love to play with that. I just took us to what we call YouTube view. And hopefully this hasn't started playing on your computer yet. Did it just start playing automatically? Okay. Oh, maybe is the sound on your computer? Okay. Right. Okay. Okay, I'll go back so we get out of that. I think we had a little bug with that. They were trying to fix that. That is a little thing. So we're working on this so that you could also have a YouTube clip, and any like pre-recorded video or material, and then for you to be able to control the playback on it. So I wanted to practice it and try it. I think they haven't quite got that. That's something new that we're working on. Great. So that's all the main features. One other thing I could take us to, we got the, talk about our plans a little bit if you're interested in that. But that's really the kind of like the high level, overview of everything you can do on it.